Come one, come all, and welcome to Tea Time with T-Cross. Good afternoon to everybody in the world except the people that live downstairs. My God, what a bunch of fucking animals. I've complained about these people many a times. It just never ends. These people don't sleep. They don't sleep. I had this idea because they're up playing music, yelling at each other till 2:30 in the morning, every fucking morning. So I had this idea that when Karen gets up for work at 6 o'clock, that I'm just going to walk around the apartment super fucking loud because they're up till 2:30 in the morning. There's no way they're up at 6. And what do you know? They're up at 6 yelling at each other. And now that I've noticed them being up at 6, it's every morning now. And it's insane to me. Last night, the argument was about the boyfriend was friends with his ex-girlfriend on Facebook. They were yelling. He storms out, goes for a walk, I guess, to cool off. But when he leaves, he slams the door. The doors in these apartments are heavy. So if you don't guide them shut, they will slam. But not only did he do that, it was louder than usual. He fucking threw that door shut. And then, 20 minutes later, so now it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, comes back in, fucking yelling and screaming about the same shit. It's like, dude, let me give you some advice. If the only problem that you guys are arguing about is that you're friends with just delete the friend. And if you care that much, just add her back later. Or, because you guys are yelling at each other every fucking night, maybe this ain't the relationship for you. Just maybe. So, today I'm going to start off by talking about things that grind my gears, because there's a whole bunch of them lately. People that don't say God bless you when you sneeze. And that can go for friends, family, co-workers, strangers in public. If someone sneezes, I just don't know how it's not an automatic response. Like, it's like second nature at this point. At least it is for me. I hear a sneeze, I say God bless you. And so often lately, I've been sneezing. And maybe it has to do with COVID. But I'm wearing a mask, I cover my mouth. But even family and friends, like, I'll sneeze and nobody will fucking say anything. I was in a store the other day waiting for an Uber ride, and I sneezed. I was standing far away from each other. There was 6 other people in the restaurant. Not a single person said God bless you. So you know what I did? I said God bless you to myself. And then I said thank you to myself. And you would think then maybe someone would be like, oh, I'm sorry, bless you. Nobody even looked at me. Nobody looked at me like I was a psycho for talking to myself in public. They just fucking kept their heads down, looking at their phones, head up their ass. Now, I keep my head up my ass on my phone all day too, but if I hear a sneeze, you're getting a God bless you. It's that simple. These fucking assholes. Another thing that grinds my gears, people that are not prepared for confrontation. They will start it, but then they are afraid. The other day, so when I do my bread truck thing on Monday afternoons, I go pick up the truck Sunday night so that I don't have to wake up earlier than usual to go out of my way to grab it. I just grab it at the end of my workday Sunday night. So I'm coming home and I'm bringing it to the apartment here. And one of the guys that lives in the apartment complex is standing on the sidewalk. And as I'm, driving down the street, he starts yelling at the truck and throwing his hands up like, what the fuck? Don't know what it was about. I wasn't going super fast. But then, I park the truck. I start walking back to the apartment. And since I parked the truck, the man that was yelling at me is now in front of me walking to his apartment. So he makes his turn to get to, the sidewalk path to lead up to his apartment. And he looks at me and I go, "What was the fucking problem?" And he just looks away from me and walks up the stairs. And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I fucking thought, bitch." Kept walking. Called him a bitch, and he just didn't even look at me. If you're going to honk your horn or yell at somebody while they're in their car, you better damn well be prepared for full confrontation. If that person gets out of their car and meets you face to face, you better not bitch out. And if you are not prepared for the person you're honking at or yelling at to get out of their car, then shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. When I honk my horn, I am prepared to get shot in the face because I'm that upset with you. And if I honked at a fucking lunatic that's going to shoot me in the face with a shotgun, well, then I have met my maker. But if you don't have a shotgun and you're going to stay in your car, then get fucking moving. Because I'm that psycho. I will get out of my car. I will yell at you. I don't care. That's what I thought, bitch. And I mean, the first time I asked it, I was pretty calm. I said, what was the problem? Nothing. Oh, nothing to say now that I'm right in your face? Yeah. Keep walking, bitch. Oh, this one. Prevalent time of year for this one. Ordering stuff online for Christmas presents and not getting it before Christmas. Now, I understand for you small websites out there that get an influx, an extra number of online orders around Christmas time. Hire some seasonal help to make sure that these items get delivered by Christmas. The last quarter, October, November, December, all these small businesses and whatever should have extra help to make sure that these items get delivered by Christmas. I bought my mom something from a website that I've used before. And, good website. Delivery time is a little long. Like the first time I bought something, it took a month, a little over a month. I bought something like November 8th. You guys cutting it a little close, but at that point I didn't know what my mom wanted for Christmas, because she's the type of person that says, "Oh, don't get me anything. I just want you to be happy," sort of thing. I'm like, well, that ain't fucking happening. So what else you got in mind there, sweetheart? So I bought it, and it's now the 16th as I'm viewing this, and I've gotten no notification that it's shipped yet. So I more than likely won't have it by Christmas. If somebody's buying something online between September and November, it's probably a Christmas present. Get your shit together. You shouldn't even have to ask this person, is this a Christmas present? Yes. The answer is yes. If somebody orders something in May, the answer should be yes. The answer, no matter what time, it's a Christmas present. Get it delivered by Christmas. If somebody orders something in the calendar year, it should not show up the following calendar year. Obviously within reason. If somebody orders something December 23rd, not from Amazon, it's reasonable to expect it not to be there by Christmas. But if somebody's ordering something in, August, and it's mid-November and they don't have their shit yet, step it the fuck up. Speaking of online shopping, though, bad customer service. So I have 2 different websites that I've bought from months and months and months ago that I haven't received my order yet. And it's not like I spent a bunch of money, but if I pay for something, I should fucking get it. So the first one is, I think it's called Teeds. Where's my fucking phone? Oh, no. Fuck. Did I leave my phone in the bedroom? So there's this store called Teeds. I bought a t-shirt from them back in May. I have not received it yet. I have sent many emails. and they don't have a social media account, so it's not like I can publicly shame them. I don't even remember how I found the website. I bought a T-shirt, so it was like $18, but like I never got the T-shirt, and now I can't contact them. I can send them if I send them an email at their help store, I get a return email that says that I can't complete the email, which I guess means that they shut their email down. And they have a help number. I've called the number, and I get the doon doon doon, like that fucking, the number you're trying to reach has been disconnected. And they don't have a social media account, so I'm just completely and utterly fucked in that sense. Like, that's just horseshit. It's absolute horseshit. And then another thing, I ordered something from them in March of 2019. So we're coming up on 2 years from this place. God, I wish I had my phone over here because I had such a good interaction with them on Facebook. So I ordered something, and then, couple, like 2 months went by, and then I sent them a message. I was like, hey, I never got a confirmation email or shipping or anything like that. So then they're like, oh, well, here's your order number. You requested to be texted. And I was like, all right, I probably just missed it. And then, a couple more months, I send them a message like, hey, update on this. And, they're one of those things on Facebook that have, this one's ESG Warehouse. They have an automatic response to your Facebook message. It's like, hey, thank you for contacting us. Please allow 24 to 72 hours for us to respond. And I just kept getting no response months later. And then on the 1 year since I purchased the item, I sent them a message saying, happy anniversary. It's been a year since I've bought this item, and I haven't been refunded. I haven't been even responded to in like 8 months. And then eventually someone answers and was like, hey, I'm sorry. This was my dad's website, or this was my mom's website, and she died. So we're trying to get back. We're trying to figure out how to get into her account so that we can, give refunds. And I was like, I'm sorry that happened, but yeah, I want my full refund. And she's like, all right, we're working on it. And I was like, here's my Venmo, send it now. And that was March earlier this year. Still never got my refund. So I contact them every month. I was like, hey, another month has gone by. And it's only like a $12 item that I bought, but like I should get that fucking item or my money back, or at least a fucking answer. But they are selling stuff on Amazon, so I caved and created an Amazon account so that I could send a message to them on Amazon, which they have not answered yet. So Teeds, Teedz, don't buy from them. ESG Warehouse, don't buy from them. All right, so that's 13 minutes. I'm going to try and keep better track of the camera here. And my laptop is not plugged in, so I got to do that as well. So give me 1 second. In this goddamn place. Plug in? Yeah, okay, we're good. Alright. So another thing that grinds my gears is, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, but people that claim higher intelligence and call other people sheep and telling them to wake the fuck up. Yawn. It's the dumbest shit that I've ever seen anybody say. Now, I've been a conspiracy theorist. I love conspiracy theories for, 27? So I don't know, well over a decade. And I've not once ever told anybody to wake the fuck up, and I've not once ever called anybody a sheep. When you try to inform people and you're like, insult them, I've called people dumb as fuck before, so You don't get anywhere when you insult people with trying to spread whatever lame-ass ideology you're trying to spread. Like, one of my buddies on Facebook the other day shared some video from Tucker Carlson who literally somebody just won a court case because the judge deemed, I forget exactly what it was for, but the judge deemed Tucker Carlson horseshit, and he won a court case because you shouldn't have listened to Tucker Carlson. But anyway, so Tucker Carlson shared this fucking video about how America is literally owned by China, and he was like, "Wake the fuck up, sheep." I'm like, one, you're an idiot for sharing Tucker Carlson videos about conspiracies, and two, like, telling people to wake up and calling them sheep, like, you're the only person in the world that knows this and everyone else is retarded. No, you're a fucking idiot. Absolute fucking idiot. Anybody that uses that terminology, go dig yourself a hole and bury yourself alive and stay there indefinitely. I'll let you know when you can come out. Oh my god, this celebrities on Cameo. It is so, telling people to wake up is arrogance, but charging someone $1,000 to send a 30-second video clip, go fuck yourself. I don't care who you are. It's insane. This Cameo shit. Celebrities charge a certain amount of money, and fans and anybody can pay them and give them a message to send to somebody else. And like, Floyd Mayweather charges $1,000. And Emmitt Smith, former running back for, I think he was on the Cowboys, charges like $750. The number one earner on Cameo last year, or at least from what I read, was Brian Bumgarner, who played Kevin on The Office, made over $1 million on Cameo. He charges like $200. That's so fucking insane to me. You know, my all-time favorite hockey player, Sean Avery, is on Cameo. He charges $50, which is more reasonable. I mean, he's not as famous as, you know, Floyd Mayweather and Brian Bumgarner, but like, if I were to ever get famous, I would charge like $10. That's fucking insane. You think you giving someone a happy birthday message is worth $700? One, you're a scumbag, and two, any idiot that would pay that is just that, a fucking idiot. Insane. Absolutely insane. But I'm thinking about getting on Cameo and calling myself like Average Joe or something. It was my dad's idea. Charge like $10. Who knows? Maybe it'll gain some traction. That'll be fucking cool. But the last one here, the last one that grinds my gears, is something that happened this week that I saw, and it really pissed me off because it's something that I've been accused of. This girl that I know, guarantee she doesn't listen to the show, but she posted on Snapchat the other day a picture of a guy, just the guy, and it was like, "Hey, I just found out that my good friend died back in August." And then she posted a bunch of pictures of just him. Not the two of them together, just him. And I mean, I've been accused of using somebody's death for attention. When my friend Dan passed away in high school, he was a very close friend of mine. I mean, I was with him almost every day because we played on the same sports teams. We were on the same football team, and we were kind of on the same baseball team. Our baseball teams were a weird dynamic. So I was on the Warriors. He was on the Wolfpack. We would practice at the same time just because the coaches were like best friends. And I think the Wolfpack was playing younger than us. So that's why they didn't play together. But, you know, we would practice together, and then I would sometimes go play for the Wolfpack. Whenever they needed an extra body or something, I would go play for them because I was younger, but I was playing with older kids. So when he died and I was all upset about it, posting it on Facebook, John fucking Lou was telling me I was using his death for attention, and then I beat the shit out of John Lou. But I was actually really good friends with Dan. I'm still really good friends with his family. His family love and appreciate the fact that I post about him every time it's his birthday, every time that it's the anniversary of his passing, which is the day before my birthday. They love the fact that I go to the cemetery all the time. On his 10-year anniversary this past year of his death, I raised like $3,500 for the Dan Falco Memorial Scholarship Fund. And my friend Mark, it was just his birthday yesterday. His dad is my fucking foot doctor that I'm going to. I'm still good friends with his family. They love and appreciate the fact that I post about him and I go to the cemetery. Like, these are friends of mine. This girl posted, oh, I just found out my friend died in August. It's December. He's your good friend. You didn't know he was dead 4 months later? That's not your friend. I'm sorry, that's not your friend. If 4 months go by and you don't even know that he's not alive anymore. That shit really pissed me off because I've been accused of it and it's horseshit. Fuck that. All right, let's get into some debates here. Oh Lord. So I had this kind of debate with Karen last night. And I've been having this debate for years, and women don't get it. They just don't understand this debate. Women will tell men how easy it is to get laid. So like we were talking about prostitution. So she's like, I don't get why guys would pay for sex. It's so easy to get laid. I'm like, yeah, for you. You're a fucking hot woman. For some fucking fat pig, some disgusting slob, even a guy like me, like, it's difficult for guys to get laid. You have to put work in. And she was like, no, it's bullshit, blah, blah, blah. And I told her, I'm like, if me and you weren't together and you really wanted to have sex tonight, I guarantee there's about at least eight guys in your phone that you could text right now, let's fuck, and they would be at your apartment in less than an hour. At least 8. It might not be a person that you actually want to have sex with, but that's not the point. The point is that they would. So that if you wanted it, you could get it. Me, if I didn't have Karen, 0 people in my phone I could text right now and say, let's fuck, and they'd be over here in less than an hour. Not a single one. And she didn't believe that, but it's a pretty, I mean, there's some guys that have, women like that, but much lesser degree than women. And I think that's pretty universal for all women, even ugly ones, even the gnarly ones, have people in their phone they could text right now and say, let's have sex today, and you will have sex that day. I mean, sure, guys could just get laid on a dime. It happens, but it's so much easier for women. It just is. And if you're saying that it's not, you're absolutely lying to yourself. 100%. Another debate. And this one kind of got me in trouble. Sucking dick versus a blowjob. They are different. Absolutely 100% different. I'm not going to get into the reason we had this debate because she doesn't like when I talk about this stuff on the show. But you're dating me, so deal with it, sweetheart. I think she stopped listening to the show, so maybe I can talk about it. I don't know. But anyway. So sucking dick is foreplay. It's entirely foreplay. A blowjob is the dick goes in the mouth and it stays there until the white stuff comes out. That's a blowjob. Blowjob is dick in the mouth, start to finish. That's it. You are pleasing your man. Sucking dick, it's like, I'm going to give you a nice little warm up and then we're going to go to Pound Town. Women will say like, oh, I gave him a blowjob and then he fucked me. Like, no, you sucked his dick and then he fucked you. Because if you gave him a blowjob, he's going to need some time to recoup if you did it right. He's going to need some rebound time. That's it for debates. So let's get into some other shit. I am so fat. I'm not the fattest I've ever been, but I'm pretty damn close. And I know how big I am because I sleep naked, and Karen has mirrors all over her room. So in the morning when I get up to go to the bathroom, I stare at my disgusting, fat, sloppy body in the mirror. But I didn't realize just how fat I was till I took my Christmas photos with my family the other day. So the Christmas card that we do like crazy funny Christmas cards every year. One year, we had my mom and my sister tied up, and me and my dad had a sign that said "Finally, peace on earth," and we had tape over their mouth. That was funny. We did one year where I dressed up like the Grinch and I was stealing the Christmas presents from my family. Another year we brought I have a drum set at my house. We brought the drum set out into the living room, and by the Christmas tree we were like all dressed up like a band. I was playing the drums. My dad had a microphone. My mom and my sister had like Guitar Hero guitars, and we were like, have a rockin' Christmas. Another year we went to Disney World in November, and in Disney World, when you take like the pictures that the Disney staff take of you, they can scan your Magic Band, and then you log on to your account that night or right then and there, and the pictures that they took will be uploaded onto your Disney account, and then you can print and do whatever there. And I'm pretty sure it's free to print out and whatever. But one year, I guess the people that took pictures before us didn't scan their Magic Band, so then when we scanned our bands, we got their pictures, so we put them on our Christmas card along with us, and we're like, Merry Christmas from the Crossings and whoever these people are. So this year we decided to take pictures dressed as the people from Frozen. I dressed up as Queen Elsa, and my sister had an Elsa dress and an Elsa wig. So Elsa had a beard and some chest hair and a big old gut. I mean, it's a tight dress. It's a dress for a woman. But when I looked at those pictures afterwards, I was like, oh boy, I gotta make a change. I mean, if you want to see the pictures, you're going to have to watch the YouTube video, because I'm going to put them up, and I'm going to put them up real quick. They're not staying up. I'm going to put them over my shoulders here. But so I was Elsa, my sister was Anna, my dad was Sven, and my mom was Olaf. So we took some pretty funny pictures, but I was looking at myself in that dress, and I was like, oh boy, this is no bueno. No bueno. Other shit. I've seen a lot of people posting this long bullshit story about how at this time of year with Christmas coming along and a lot of businesses closing, next time you want to order food, don't order through Uber because they take 30% of your order from the restaurant. No. That doesn't even make any sense. You just pay more. If you order directly from the restaurant and you have to go pick it up, it'll just be cheaper for you because you don't have to then pay Uber on top of the restaurants. They're not taking any money away from the restaurant at all. The restaurant will make the same amount of money whether Uber delivers it to you or whether you go pick it up. It doesn't even make sense why Uber would take 30%. Uber only delivers it. They don't go in and make their fucking food. They don't go into the kitchen and make it themselves. Uber does not take 30%. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You just pay more so that Uber also gets paid. You pay the restaurant and you pay Uber. You don't take Uber. The only difference is you'll pay less, but you'll have to get your fat, lazy ass out of bed to go pick it up. It's the only difference. All right, I'm going to restart the camera. So the camera stops automatically at like 17, 18 minutes. And in the past, I've had it go several minutes without me even noticing. So I'm trying to stay on top and do it every 15 minutes or so that it's only a few seconds in between. But another thing that happened this week that really, I hate that I went to film school. I really hate it. I had so much fun. I made the best friends of my life in college. But film school has ruined movies for me because I notice little mistakes that nobody else notices, and it ruins movies for me. So the other day I watched the movie 12 Monkeys with Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt. It's about this guy like is a time traveler, and he's back in time, and in the future there was some virus that killed like several billion people. So he's going back and he's back in time to try to stop the virus from spreading, trying to find the source of it or whatever. Pretty good movie, but several times in the movie, there was so obvious ADR. And what ADR is, I forget exactly what it stands for, but it's like the audio in the original take got messed up, but they like the camera work. So then they go into a studio and they will play the movie on a screen, and then the actor is in the booth, and he then delivers the line in post-production. It's called ADR. I forget what ADR stands for. But there was so many times that it was so clear that it was ADR. Like I don't know what it was that I noticed that made it obvious, whether it was like the audio was off or it didn't line up with the mouth, or just the audio changed because it was so clearly in a booth and not outside. And it drove me nuts. And I saw it so many times, and I kept like, I didn't keep, but at one point the one was so fucking bad that I pointed it out to Karen, and I like rewound it to show her, and she's like, I don't fucking see it. And I'm like, oh, it was so obvious. Ruined the movie for me. Ruined the movie. It happens to me all the time. Especially if I rewatch a movie. Like if I watch it a second time, I'll pay closer attention to like the little details as opposed to just paying attention to what's going on in the movie, because I know what's going to happen. But like when you see it's called an over the shoulder shot, where you see the guy's shoulder and then this person's face is, in the camera shot. But a lot of times they'll do an over the shoulder shot to get a reaction. So the person whose shoulder you're seeing, they're talking, but then they're getting the reaction shot. A lot of times in those shots, the audio of the person talking it doesn't match up. Like they're talking, but their lips aren't matching up to the words that they're saying. And I pay attention to that kind of shit because it drives me fucking crazy. The band Trapped. The lead singer, I believe his name is Chris Brown, believe it or not, he has been banned from Twitter. And I think he deserves it, and I don't. So he's a big Trump guy. He's a COVID is fake guy sort of thing. And he tweeted out like last week or something that a 14-year-old boy fucking his 26-year-old teacher is not pedophilia, you fucking idiots. Something along those lines. And it quite literally is. And he's like, oh, I'd give that boy a high five. No, that's statutory rape, bro. And he went on this rampage about how that's not actually how that's not pedophilia, that's not rape, and it's like it literally is both of those things. So Twitter banned him. But from what I understand, from what I read about him, he's been posting a bunch of COVID is fake and anti-vax sort of things, and I think the band kicked him out and was like, yeah, we don't agree with what he said. Like, we're losing fans here, you fucking dope. But what a fucking lunatic. I got banned for calling a woman a cunt. And she was being a cunt. But he gets to spew COVID is fake and anti-vax stuff, and until he says that pedophilia is not statutory rape sort of thing, that's what gets him banned. It's like, fucking, god damn it. I want my Twitter back so bad. So the country of Hungary decided this week to ban gay couples from adopting. And I saw that decision on a website called RT, stands for Russia TV. It's one of my favorite news outlets. But I guess a lot of people around the world follow RT, I guess. So I'm reading through the comments on the post, and it's a bunch of people. Like, every comment I see is like, "Oh, thank God somebody has sense. Somebody in the European Union has some sense, and like applaud Hungary. Like, yeah, this is great." I was shocked that those were all the comments. I didn't see any comments that were like, "This is fucking terrible." Like, everyone's, "Oh, finally they're deciding to protect the children." It's like, you'd rather children be in foster care than to be adopted by gay people? Like, here's a stat for you. 100% of the gay people I know, that goes for men and women, 100% of gay people I know are really loving, really caring, and really genuine human beings. 100%. I'd say about 27% of heterosexuals I know are loving, caring, and genuine human beings. So, fuck you, Hungary, and anybody that supports that decision. Please unfollow, unsubscribe. See yourself out. Fuck off. Now, before I get into sports, I gotta nerd out here a little bit. So last Wednesday, Disney went off. They went the fuck off. I haven't had an anxiety attack in months, but this might be dramatic, but it's the truth. I literally had an anxiety attack as Disney was releasing all these shows that they have coming up over the next number of years, because I'm like, I literally had a panic attack about when am I going to have time to watch all this shit. I mean, they started with Disney. They're like, a new Peter Pan live action movie, a new Pinocchio live action movie, which I'm going to be honest, I don't love the live action remakes, but maybe they'll get better. I don't know. I'm going to keep watching them. But, and then a new Buzz Lightyear fucking movie, a Baymax TV show, a Tiana TV show, a Moana TV show. I was like, holy shit. And then they release all the Star Wars shit they have coming out. Two Mandalorian spinoffs. Ahsoka, who is my favorite Star Wars character, which is a new thing because I never watched any of the cartoons until lockdown earlier this year when I watched Clone Wars. Ahsoka's a fucking gangster. Seeing her in a live action sense was awesome. Rosario Dawson fucking killed it. I hate that she was only in one episode, and I love that she's getting a spinoff. I fucking love it. And I think the other spinoff was Rangers of the New Republic. I don't remember exactly. There was so many shows. I forget which one was another spinoff. I'm pretty sure it's Rangers of the New Republic. And then they had a couple cartoon shows. One is like an anime type show called Visions, and then an animated show called The Bad Batch, which from watching the trailer, what I understand is it's like a bad batch of clones. Like all the clones were the same people, and they had like chips in their heads so that they can be controlled to execute Order 66 by the Sith Lord. And they had a bad batch. I guess their chip was malfunctioning. I think that's what I gather from the trailer I saw. It could be wrong. And Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and they announced Hayden Christensen is coming back as Darth Vader, so we're getting more Vader, which is fucking incredible. And Ewan McGregor is coming back as Obi-Wan, which is fucking phenomenal. It's supposed to take place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, which is episode 3. And my brain was scrambled. I'm like, holy fucking shit. And then, instead of giving everybody a break, they just went full crazy, and then they just released all the Marvel shit that they got coming out. So they released WandaVision is starting January. So that's right around the fucking corner. And I almost hope they don't do the one a week one episode a week thing like they've been doing with Mandalorian. So the way I watch TV shows over the last, I don't know, 7, 8 years, I don't watch shows unless they're finished. Because I'm a binge watcher. I watched the entire Breaking Bad series in 6 days. 5 seasons, 6 days. Um, I'm a binge watcher. I don't like watching one episode and then having to wait for next week, or binging a couple seasons and then having to wait for the new season to come out. There's so much TV out there. I usually just wait till the show is over and then watch the whole thing. But I'm not waiting several years to watch these shows. I'm watching them as they come out. I don't care. I'll rewatch them when they're over. Like when Mandalorian came out, I was like, new Star Wars. I'm not waiting years for this show to be over. I'm just doing it. So me and my sister every week we watch Mandalorian. So now we got WandaVision coming out in January. I mean, the one a week thing, it's cool. It builds anticipation, especially when they leave cliffhangers at the end, and then you have to wait till next week to see it. I get it. It's cool. But Netflix releases seasons at a time. Like, release the whole first season. I don't know. Then I guess it kind of all jumbles together. I don't fucking know. But so anyway, WandaVision starts in January. Falcon and the Winter Soldier starts in March. And Loki starts in May. But those shows had already been announced that they were happening. We knew that. But they released the dates. So that got me excited. And then they went into all the other shows that are coming out. And I kind of don't know which one is animated, which one's live action. But so they got She-Hulk, which I think they had previously announced, or maybe it was rumored and it was just confirmed. She-Hulk, Secret Invasion, I Am Groot, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I don't even remember. There was so fucking many of them, and like I had a sensory overload. I'm like, this is way too much information for my brain to take in. I started it. Yeah, so I'll finish that real quick. Two Armor Wars. Fuck. I don't remember all of them off the top. There was so many. But I'm like, What If? Which is one I'm really excited about. I just don't know how I'm going to have time to watch all this shit. I mean, I understand, this is what they gave like a big dump of, this is our next, 3-4 years of nerd shit that's coming out. But fucking A, man. Wonder Woman is coming out on Christmas. I'm going to be away on Christmas, so I'm going to watch that. Soul, the new Disney movie with Jamie Foxx, and Mrs. Huxtable. The woman that played Mrs. Huxtable is going to play a voice in it, so that's pretty fucking cool. But yeah, and then Karen got home from work, and I just went, like, oh my God, all this crazy. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. I'm like, you should be happy for the world. Like, this is huge news. I'm going to check the camera. 1 second. Was afraid I was going to nerd out too hard and miss the camera for a while. I wish I had my fucking phone here so I could look at the, let me see if it's on the couch. Nope, must have left it in the bedroom. Fuck. But so many Marvel shows, so many Star Wars shows, not enough time. Not enough time, because I got this stupid thing called work. Got a car payment, fucking student loan payment. Fuck this shit. So let's get into sports. For my fellow sports fans out there, are you aware of the Tim Donaghy story, which I'm sure a lot of you are. So Tim Donaghy, for those of you that don't know, went to jail and he was an NBA ref, and he was fixing games, essentially. He uses the term manipulate, which when you watch the podcast or listen to the podcast, it makes sense. But so Tim Donaghy was betting on games that he refed, and was making a bunch of money. He claims that over the 4 years that he was doing this, he only got about $100,000 from betting. And other people that was talked to in the podcast, like, that's absolute horseshit. There's no fucking way. But he was, manipulating games. He was working with the mob, essentially. And then he got fired, and everybody was like, oh, the NBA's fixed, sort of thing. And the NBA was like, made a point to say, no, he went rogue. Like, he's the only one that did that. But in this podcast, he went, like, this dude, Tim Livingston, was the guy that did the podcast. It's called Whistleblower. If you're a sports fan, you got to check it out. It's 10 episodes, about a half hour or so each episode. Real quick, 5 hours. It goes by quick. But, like, he just went so deep. He talked to, like, a former mob boss, and that guy ruined my life, because that guy was like, yeah, we have people in every sport on our payroll, to like referees in every sport on our payroll. But he said that basketball was it's the easiest game to manipulate, because everything is a foul and everything is not a foul. So this guy, Tim Livingston, went so deep and was like, it wasn't just the mob. It wasn't just Tim Donaghy. It's the NBA. He essentially proved that the NBA is choreographed. It's entirely fixed, or at least it was under, what's his fucking name? David Stern, the former commissioner. It was entirely like the WWE, except the players didn't know it. Tim Donaghy said that the games that he bet on, some games you can't control, like if they're just shooting lights out from the three and you bet on the other team, there's really not much you can do to manipulate that game, but everything's a fucking foul. So he said he was winning about 85% of his bets that he was placing. That's fucking crazy. That the entire NBA is just fake. It was so fucking mind-blowing. And one of the craziest things that I thought that they did is, they were saying how, the NBA, after the refs retire, keep getting paid by the NBA, I guess, to stay silent. And one of the schemes that they have is the NBA gives every ref in the league, I think they said $12,000 a month for plane tickets, to buy first class. But what they all do, and they do it knowingly, is they buy coach tickets, but because they fly so often, they just get upgraded to first class. So they still fly first class, but they buy coach tickets. And then they pocket the rest, and that's untaxable money. That's every month. Where I think he said they're only spending like $1,000 or $2,000 on plane tickets a month, but they're given $12,000. So every month they're getting $10,000 of untaxed money for travel that they're not using. And they're all doing it, and they're all in on it. It's absolutely fucking crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, okay, I do have it there. So my one buddy, Bobby Adams, who I butt heads with all the time, especially when it comes to sports, because he has some really bad things, really not smart things to say about sports. So I shared this thing the other day. It was comparing the stats of Ken Griffey Jr. and Mike Trout when they were the same age. I believe they're 29 right now. So Mike Trout has very similar stats to what Ken Griffey had at this point in his career. I think Griffey had played more games, though, because he came into the league, I think, when he was 18, and I think Mike Trout came in when he was 21. So Mike Trout has not played as many seasons at 29 as Griffey has. And he's got very similar stats, very similar, even with playing less games. So I posted something like, had Ken Griffey Jr. never gotten hurt throughout his career, he'd be considered the greatest of all time, and there would be little to no debate about it. And Mike Trout is on his way there. And Bobby Adams posted something like, you're going to disagree with what I'm saying here because you're a Met fan, but Derek Jeter just might be the greatest player in the history of baseball. Now, I don't disagree with that because I'm a Met fan. I disagree with that because I'm a baseball fan, because that's absolutely idiotic. That's fucking crazy. First ballot Hall of Famer, absolutely. Phenomenal player, yes. I don't hate Derek Jeter because I'm a Met fan. I don't hate Derek Jeter at all. I love Derek Jeter. Phenomenal baseball player. I don't even hate the Yankees. I hate Yankee fans. I've always liked the Yankees as a team. When I was growing up, it was Mike Messina, Mariano Rivera, Chuck Knobloch, Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams, Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez. I like all those guys. Scott Procius, I think I pronounced that name right. I think he played third base for that team. Phenomenal team. I always liked the Yankees. Their fans are just unbearable. But saying that Derek Jeter is arguably the greatest player of all time is nonsense. It's absolutely fucking crazy. You could make an argument that he might be the greatest shortstop, but even then, that's probably not. Like, if you look at his stats, let's look at Derek Jeter's stats. So, while I'm looking up his offensive stats, defensively, great defensive player, but he played 20 seasons, and he won 5 Gold Gloves. Ozzie Smith played 19 seasons and won 13 Gold Gloves. So defensively, he's not the greatest shortstop ever. Offensively, let's look at his offensive stats here. 20 seasons, he led the league in hits twice. Never led the league in doubles, never led the league in triples, never led the league in home runs, never led the league in RBIs, never led the league in stolen bases, never led the league in batting average, never led the league in on-base percentage, never led the league in slugging percentage, never led the league in on-base plus slugging. Phenomenal career stats, but as a player, offensively, definitely he's not the best hitting shortstop, he's not the best defensive shortstop, but collectively, like Alex Rodriguez is probably the greatest hitting shortstop. I don't remember how he played defensively as a shortstop in Texas when he was a Texas Ranger before he came to the Yankees. But from what I understand, they wanted to put him at shortstop, but Jeter refused to play third, so A-Rod played third. That was how that went. I could be wrong in my remembering of that, but so he's probably not the greatest shortstop of all time, but he's definitely not the greatest player of all time. That's fucking absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So then when I had that argument, that had me thinking of like the greatest of all time at every position. So I made a list of my all-time list at each position. And this is so fucking hard because there's so many great players at every position. So catcher, Johnny Bench. Played for the Reds. I think that one was pretty clear, Johnny Bench. And then first base, tough call. You got Lou Gehrig, all-time great, historic name. But you also have Albert Pujols, who plays now. I didn't compare their stats, but I think it's harder to play in today's game than it was when Lou Gehrig played, and even pre-Lou Gehrig. Second base, pretty clearly Rod Carew. Third base was tough between, Mike Schmidt, Brooks Robinson, George Brett, A-Rod. He played there a long time. But I picked Mike Schmidt. He just has the best offensive stats. He was before my time. I don't know much about his defensive, but every list that I was looking up, they had him as the greatest third baseman ever. So that was what got my decision. And then shortstop, I picked A-Rod. Clearly the best hitter. I don't know much. I don't remember how he played defensively just because he was hitting so many fucking home runs. That's all I paid attention to when I was a kid. And then the outfield was probably the hardest for me. So my two favorite players of all time are Babe Ruth and Ken Griffey Jr. Both, now, I just said that comparing how they played back then to today, Babe Ruth was way ahead of his time. Even playing back then, I read a book recently that proved the year that he hit 60 home runs, if he were playing in today's game, he would have hit over 100 that season. And nobody today has come even fucking close to that. So I really do think that Babe Ruth could have competed in today's game. Not saying that Lou Gehrig couldn't, but just Babe Ruth is just so far ahead of everybody else at that position. And then Ken Griffey Jr. is just my favorite player of all time. And he also played fucking phenomenal defense on top of his elite level batting skills. And then right field, I put Ichiro Suzuki. I do think Ichiro is the greatest hitter of all time. He's got well over 3,000 hits in America, but he also played a number of years over in Japan where he got well over 1,000 hits. So if you combine those, he's got the most hits in baseball history. I understand that's a lower level of competition over there, but I think when he came over here, he proved that he could also compete over here. And he had a fucking crazy good arm in right field. For a little guy, that fucking dude had a cannon. But the outfield was hard because one of the greatest hitters of all time, other than Ichiro, Ted Williams, also played the outfield, and I kept him off the list, which was tough to do. And the two greatest power hitters of all time, Barry Bonds and Hank Aaron, also played the outfield. Barry Bonds, pre-steroids, was hitting fucking triples and home runs and stealing bases, hitting 40-40. So the outfield was definitely the toughest, but it came down to my two favorite players and who I think the greatest hitter of all time is. That's how I made that decision. I'm going to check the camera. Give me a second. And then the starting pitching rotation. This one was also very difficult because there are so fucking many good pitchers. So I went with Jacob deGrom as my number one in my starting rotation. He's just so fucking dominant, and he doesn't have a team around that supports him. But he's just so fucking good. And then two, I picked Clayton Kershaw, who also plays in today's game. But if you look at the history of baseball, no pitcher in the history of baseball has a higher winning percentage than Clayton Kershaw. He is number one of all time. And I believe it's 69.3%. I believe that's what I saw. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what I read. That's insane. Absolutely insane. And then I picked Greg Maddux. That fucking guy was just so dominant while he was playing. 300 wins, He used to kill the fucking Mets. He played for the Braves. Absolute stud. Then I picked Randy Johnson, number 4. What a freaking nature that guy was, throwing 110 miles an hour. Not really 110, but you know what I'm saying. And he threw that. Have you ever seen that clip where the pitcher throws the ball and it hits the bird in midair? That was Randy Johnson. I was just always a big fan of Randy Johnson. I loved the Diamondbacks as a kid. The Randy Johnson, Curt Schilling 1-2 punch. I used to fucking love that team. I loved their jerseys back when they were purple with pinstripes. And then I picked Roger Clemens. When he was at the height of his career, the peak of his career, that dude was almost unstoppable. Almost unstoppable. But, there's so many good pitchers. With a rotation, I like to go righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty. I just think it throws teams off when they have to, because they adjust their lineup based on left-handed versus right-handed. But, the obvious choice would be Cy Young. He's got the most wins ever, but he also has the most losses ever. Walter Johnson, second most wins ever, but again, they played back in the early 1900s. I believe they were both pre Babe Ruth. And I also left out Ty Cobb just for the simple reason of playing back in the day. If you take into account just stats, then you can't pick anybody that plays today, because everybody that played back in the day had better stats, like the long time ago stats. You're looking at the Honus Wagners, the Ty Cobbs, the Nap LaJoys, these guys that hit 400 in a season several times. But they were also pitching against pitchers who played every day. Pitchers back then pitched every game. So you're not facing pitchers at their best because they just threw 9 innings yesterday. That's why Cy Young has, over 500 wins and over 300, almost 400 losses. So I think that's just why those guys hit better back then. Not to say they were bad hitters, but they were facing pitchers that were, there's no way their arms were okay. There's just no way. There's no fucking way a human body could throw 9 innings 5 days in a row. So that's why I didn't really pick too many players from back then, but I'm just a Babe Ruth dick rider, so that's why I picked him. And that's why I didn't really pick any pitchers from back then, because it's really hard to gauge how good they actually were, because they were pitching every day. So that's how that came about. That was a fun challenge that I did. I thought more people were going to comment like their own lineups. People were just telling me what was wrong with mine, like saying that Ted Williams and Hank Aaron weren't on there. Rogers Hornsby, that's another one that Connor Dickey mentioned. Willie Mays. There's so many great fucking players. Baseball's been around for so long. That's such a hard thing to do, but that's my lineup. So now, again, I find myself talking about Jake fucking Paul. So he's an asshole. He was crying on the microphone after the Nate Robinson fight. I have to fight every day. People talk shit about me. People hate me. Because you're an asshole. So he posted a video calling out Conor McGregor. And he essentially called his wife ugly, which she's not. But, you want to fight Conor, call out Conor for the shit that he's done or whatever, fine. But, keep the family out of it. Nate Diaz even came out in defense of Conor. Was like, you're going to get beat the fuck up, dude. You can't be talking like that. And I would love to see that happen. Would love to see Nate Diaz beat the shit out of Jake Paul. But then, the following day, he went to where Dylan Dennis was. I don't know how he knew where Dylan Dennis was. But I saw the comments like, oh, this is staged. Dylan Dennis does not like that kid, and vice versa. I don't think they would have staged that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think they would have. And from the video, it looked like Dylan Dennis was doing an interview with somebody. Like, there was a boom mic, there was a camera guy. And Jake just starts throwing water balloons at Dylan. like towards the crowd of fucking people. Like, dude, there's tens of thousands of dollars of equipment there. You're just throwing water balloons. Like, you're a fucking piece of shit. And then Dylan Dennis starts chasing him, and they drive off in the car as Jake Paul's calling him a pussy. You can't call someone a pussy as you're running away from them. You can't. You just cannot. And he's like, why would I stay? Like, I want to fight that guy for millions of dollars. Why would I fight him for free? You're right. But you went to his gym and threw water balloons at him and called him a pussy while you're running away. You're a fucking loser. So then Dana White came out and said, like, Connor's definitely not fighting him, but maybe I'll let Amanda Nunes go and knock him out. And Amanda Nunes was like, yeah, I'm in. I love Amanda Nunes. She's great. And now let's get to the fights last weekend. Wow. What a night of fights. The whole night was fucking awesome. The card was phenomenal. So, Cub Swanson got a knockout, which was good to see. Got 2 wins in a row after having a 4-fight skid. Good to see him still doing well. But then the main card is what I wanted to focus on. So, Junior Dos Santos, former heavyweight champion, has now lost 4 in a row, all by knockout. Remember those cuts that Dana White was talking about? Well, I would imagine Junior Dos Santos is going to be a part of those cuts. This Cyril Gane kid, I don't know. I don't like him for some reason. I don't like his style. Just the way he throws punches, I don't know. It just doesn't look clean to me. But he's undefeated, and I've never won a fight, so who the fuck am I to talk? But I think JDS is done. I don't think they're going to give him another fight. Sorry, JDS, you had a fun career, but you got to go. He shouldn't even go anywhere else. He should retire. How many knockout losses does he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. 7 of his 9 losses are by knockout. I think you've had enough there, my friend. And then, Fighter of the Year. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Kevin Holland, Fighter of the Year. 5-0 or 5-0 this year. Holy shit, he's had a lot of fights in the UFC so far. Wow. So he's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights since May. May, August, September, October, December. Tied the UFC record for most wins in a calendar year. I think the record for most wins in a 12-month period is 6 by Neil Magny, but it wasn't within, 1 calendar year. So I think he could definitely beat that. He's got till May to win 2 more fights. With how often he's fighting, I think he could definitely do that. He's got 4 knockouts, but he took a big step up in competition. So I think he was originally supposed to take a short notice fight and fight Jack Hermanson last week or 2 weeks ago. Tested positive for COVID. Said he was asymptomatic, didn't feel anything. But then came back this week, fought Jacare, and beat the shit out of him. 1 minute and 45 seconds, knocked him out. From his back. He threw like a back fist or like from his back, one of those, but caught him right on the temple. And then threw another one, got him right on the chin, and he was out. And he just got on top of him. Boom, boom. Like those last 2 punches were not necessary. But I think without question he's Fighter of the Year. 5-0 during a pandemic. And then post-fight press conference, he said, I want to fight Khamzat Chimaev next week. Next week, His guy pulled out for COVID. I want to fight him on a week's notice. I can make weight again. He even said I could make 170 by next week. I want in. I want Hamzat next week. And nobody has been pressing the UFC. Nobody has been like really trying to make this happen. And I don't think it's going to. But that would have been awesome because he wanted the record. He was like, I want the record for 6 in a year, and I want to fight that guy next week. And then he tweeted out like, oh, well, it's not happening. I guess I got to get 6 next year. I fucking love Kevin Holland. I like the way he fights. I mean, he throws sloppy punches too, but he's entertaining. He likes to fight. He just wants to be in there. I like him a lot. And people saying that Davidson Figueiredo should win Fighter of the Year because he had 4 title fights. He missed weight one time, and he's 3-0-1. He didn't win all the fights that he had. Kevin Holland, up-and-comer, won 5. He's got to be. It's got to be him. And then we had Mackenzie Dern versus Vima Jandiroba, 2 elite-level jiu-jitsu practitioners. Had a striking match. As per usual, when 2 great grapplers fight each other. Mackenzie Dern looked like she had better striking than in the past. I wouldn't say good striking, but better striking for sure. And after the second round, she goes back to the corner and her nose is busted, clearly broken. She says to her coach, I think I broke my nose. And her coach is like, no, your nose is fine. Don't even worry about it. But it was for sure broken. That was pretty funny, but I like Mackenzie Dern. I know I talk shit about people that miss weight, and she has missed weight quite a few times. But it's been a while. It's been 2 years, almost 3 years since she missed weight, so I think she got it under control. It looked like her titties were gone. Like, didn't she used to have some big milkers? Maybe she's done breastfeeding because she had a kid. Maybe I'm wrong. But then, performance of the night, one of the best performances I've ever seen in the history of MMA. My top 2 favorite performances that I've ever seen, both were against Tony Ferguson. I'm sorry, Tony, I love you. But Oliveira's performance against you and Gaethje's performance against you were some of the best, most unexpected performances that I've ever seen. I thought Charles was going to win. I did not think he was going to dominate him. How Tony did not tap to that fucking armbar at the end of the first round. Holy shit. Had the first round been 10 seconds longer, I think he would have just snapped the arm in half. Once he put it under the elbow and cranked, oh my God, me and Karen were, and Sal was here too. So me, Karen, and Sal were like screaming, like, oh my God. It was fucking crazy. Absolutely crazy. Excuse me. Oh, camera just beeped. I heard it this week. That's the battery. Damn it. Alright. So I'm going to keep talking here while I change the battery, because I have to take the fucking piece off of for the tripod. Yeah, so Charles Oliveira definitely should fight for the title next. No questions asked. But then we get to the main event, the flyweight title fight. I've always liked flyweights. I don't understand the hatred for them. They're small, they're quick, they're just as technical, but they fight at a much higher pace. I've always really enjoyed the flyweights. All right, battery change. Give me 1 second. Fuck. Sorry about that. So Davidson Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno, barn burner, absolute barn burner. But after people have such short-term memories in the sport, everyone afterwards was like, "Oh, fight of the year for sure." Hold up, are you forgetting Megamind here? Joanna versus Wiley Zhang? Are you forgetting Dustin Poirier versus Dan Hooker? Are you forgetting Justin Gaethje versus Tony Ferguson? Great fight. Definitely not fight of the year. Definitely not even top three. Definitely not even top three. Phenomenal fight. I thought Figueiredo won the fight. I thought he won 3-2 with a point deduction, so draw for sure. He landed the bigger shots. Moreno looked great, though. What a story that kid had. Came into the UFC young, got cut. He came into the UFC by the Ultimate Fighter. Was the 16th ranked guy on the Ultimate Fighter with 16 guys. He was the last ranked guy. I don't remember if he won. I don't think he won, but I think he made it to the finals of the Ultimate Fighter, right? No, he didn't make it to the finals, but came into the UFC, and then got cut after losing 2 in a row. Went and won the LFA title, came back into the UFC, and he hasn't lost since. So, definite draw. I haven't seen anybody in that weight class make a big statement as for the next title challenger. But Figueiredo was complaining about how, he just fought 3 weeks ago. He claims he was in the hospital the night before the fight till like 2 in the morning. I don't think they might have said what, but I don't recall what it was for. So I'm thinking next is an immediate rematch for sure. And you're not gonna hear me bitch and moan about that. Actually, yeah, you will, because I've been a big talker, big anti allowing people, challengers who lose a title fight, to get an immediate rematch. However, in the flyweights, there's just not that much going on where like, no, this guy deserves it. I would say Moreno should get the next title fight, unless from now until then one of the other flyweights at the top makes a statement for it. But I didn't see anybody bitching and moaning about them talking about an immediate rematch. So if nobody else wants the fight, then Moreno should get the fight. If nobody else is bitch moaning and complaining like, hey, I should get this fight, then you're not going to get the fucking fight. That was always the problem with the flyweights. Nobody wants to talk shit. I think that's all I got for... Yes, now let's go to the next card, which is Wonderboy versus Jeff Neal. I love Jeff Neal, and this is a good card. I have a parlay bet going on with... they don't have him on the Wikipedia here. Oh, yeah. So, Carl Roberson, my buddy. I got him. I got Sijara Eubanks. I got Marlon Moraes and Chaos Williams. I got in a 4-way parlay. I put 50 down. I win like 280 if they win. Anthony Pettis coming back against Alex Morano. Good fighter. And is it at welterweight? I don't like Pettis at welterweight. I mean, he fights okay at welterweight, but I don't love the welterweight stuff. I mean, he beat Wonderboy Thompson at welterweight. Lost to Nate Diaz, and then I thought he lost to Donald Cerrone, but Anthony Pettis is a fun fighter, so I'm with whatever the fuck he wants to do. And then my girl, Jillian Robertson. I believe she has the most submissions in female UFC history, or the most finishes. One of those two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's got 5 submissions in the UFC, which I think is more than Ronda Rousey because she ended up getting a bunch of knockouts. Marlon Moraes, I can't see him fucking losing. I mean, Rob Font's a beast, but he's lost 2 of his last 3. And I thought he lost the Jose Aldo fight, so he essentially lost 3 in a row. But he's going to come back with a chip on his shoulder. This Rob Font guy is pretty fucking good, but he hasn't fought the competition that Marlon Moraes has fought. He fought Sergio Pettis and Ricky Simone. Not that those are bad fighters, but Marlon Moraes fought Henry Cejudo and fucking Jose Aldo, and some judges thought the judges thought he won that fight. I did not. Then we got Michael Pereira, the fucking guy that does backflips and shit, versus Chaos Williams. Chaos Williams puts dudes out. New up-and-comer on the scene. I fucking love him. And I don't like this Michael Pereira guy. He misses weight, and then he does backflips, and he taunts you, and I don't fucking like him. I hope Chaos Williams knocks his ass in the next week. And then we got big bantamweight fight. Jose Aldo versus Chito Marlon Vera. So Jose Aldo hasn't won at bantamweight yet. Went down to bantamweight, and he lost to Marlon. I thought he won. Lost to Peter Yan. That was a fucking fun fight. So I think Jose Aldo can get back on track here. But if Chito Vera comes out and beats Jose Aldo, he's making a statement for the top of the division. His last one was against Sean O'Malley, who I don't believe is ranked currently. But Sean O'Malley is still claiming that he's undefeated, which is kind of bothering me, but it's also kind of funny. Oh, real quick, I don't know why this just reminded me, but back to Jake Paul. The only people he's following on Instagram is Conor McGregor's wife and Dylan Dennis' girlfriend, which is pretty fucking funny. I'll give him that. Back to UFC. Main event, Stephen Thompson versus Jeff Neal. Stephen Thompson hasn't done great the last couple years. He's 2-3-1 in his last couple years. I mean, he fights the top competition. That's going to happen when you're fighting the best in the world. But, I mean, he went on a fucking run. So he beat Robert Whittaker, Patrick Cote, Jake Ellenberger, Johnny Hendricks, Rory McDonald. Fought for the title. Draw against Tyron Woodley. Lost to Tyron Woodley. Beat Masvidal. Lost to Till. Lost to Pettis. And then beat Vicente Luque in his last fight, which was over a year ago at this point. But Jeff Neal, I really like. He is crisp. He is clean. He's basic. And that's not a bad thing when I say he's basic. But he's undefeated in the UFC. His last fight, which was also over a year ago, he kicked Mike Perry in the head, which I love. So I'm picking Jeff Neal. I think he's going to figure out the Wonder Boy puzzle. That's what I'm going with. And then I didn't post on Facebook about the questions because I got one really fucking good one. And she asked me to not, to keep it anonymous. But it's a fucking hilarious question. So she writes, I know you talk about butt stuff, otherwise this would be weird. But my question is, without a bidet, what is the correct way to wipe your butt after pooping? I was in the middle of an interesting debate the other day. My one friend, he just wipes his butt, but my other friend says you need to get inside a little to thoroughly clean your booty. All right. So the butt stuff expert is here to help. So your second friend is correct. But however, your first friend is also correct. But your second friend is more correct. So it depends on how gnarly the shit is. If you're taking like a fucking explosive diarrhea where it's just a mess down there, you gotta be real thorough. And the way to be thorough is you don't necessarily stick your finger up your ass when you're wiping. You need to when you are for sure positive there's no more caca up inside you, when you're wiping, you need to push out a little bit, because I don't know if you've ever seen like the porn where they're like flex their asshole out. It almost opens up when you're pushing out so that you can wipe the inside of was there. It also depends on how much you're into butt stuff. Like if you are for sure getting anal that night, or your boyfriend or girlfriend for that matter likes to eat your ass, you got to do the courtesy and just be extra clean. So you definitely got to get up in there a little bit at least. So as you're wiping, you don't stick your finger up in your ass. You kind of like just push your asshole out so that when you clench it back up, everything on at least on the inside of the hole is also clean. But that's a great question. But also, if you are definitely expecting anal that night, at some point you got to shower, and then after you wash your whole body, if you use a washcloth, apparently not everybody uses a washcloth, but if you have a washcloth, fill that up with soap and then re-wipe your ass with soap, and then bend over underneath the shower, stick your ass up in the air, and clean that out that way, just to get an extra level of clean, and then it'll smell better too. So you got to think about your partner when it comes to butt stuff. But yeah, I've never used a bidet. It kind of, it weirds me out for some reason, because like if you were to get shit on any other part of your body, you wouldn't just wipe it off with a piece of paper. You would use, soap and water and get to the sink and really clean that part of your body. But with your asshole, where most people are hoping a mouth and tongue goes, we just wipe it with paper and get on with our day. But I also clean it pretty thoroughly in the shower. But also shave your asshole, gentlemen. I'm going to do that right after this podcast is over. But yeah, you want to get a really clean butthole, push out as you're wiping. You will get the inside layer of your rectum, or your sphincter, whatever you want to call it. All right. So for anybody that made it through that disgustingness, I'd like to mention my sponsors, which I don't do all that often, but I have a link tree. So if you are interested in any of these products, you can either send me a message on my social media accounts, Thomas Crossan on Facebook, T Cross the Boss on Instagram. Boss is BAWSS. Shouldn't be too hard to find me. I will answer any and all questions about any and all of these products. But I do have a link tree, which I will put in the description of the YouTube video and on the SoundCloud, or the iTunes, or wherever it is that you listen. So you can click on the link and it'll take you directly to my affiliate website, where you can buy stuff, and I will get credit for it, but also buy some merch. I bought a bunch of my own merch, so that's coming in the mail. So hopefully soon I will have that stuff. But if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube yet, please do. I would like to get to 50 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm at 31 right now. So if you don't have a YouTube page, can you go make one with your Google account? It takes 5 minutes, and then just subscribe, please. But my number one favorite sponsor here, Kratom Crates. Like I said earlier when talking about the nerd stuff, I haven't had an anxiety attack in months because I started drinking Kratom every day. The most common time that I have anxiety attacks is at night while I'm trying to sleep. So Kratom is it's awesome. It has so many different uses. For me, it helps with anxiety. Like I said, it also helps me sleep. So it calms my anxiety and also makes me tired at the end of the night, so that I can fall asleep. And then it doesn't necessarily help me fall asleep, but once I am asleep, it helps me stay asleep. Because I've always had trouble sleeping through the night. So having something that I can put in a cup of water and drink before I go to bed that will help me stay asleep for the whole night, super fucking helpful. But it helps with anxiety as well. I know people that it helps with depression. It also helps with pain. And there's a bunch of different strains that help with different aspects. So this one I have here on the table is the yellow Mang Da. I also have white Mang Da the Mang Da, at least for me, are the nighttime ones that I use that help with helping me go to sleep. But then there's other strands that help with like social anxiety, and it helps you feel more confident in going out and starting conversations with people. And it's just an all around fucking phenomenal product. And then other ones, CBD MD, which I'm sure most of you know what CBD is, and if you are a fight fan, you've seen CBD MD because they sponsor a bunch of guys in the UFC like Jorge Masvidal. They sponsor Chael Sonnen, guys like that. But buy from me, please. I will get credit for your purchase from CBD. I think you can use my link, but also use somebody else's promo code because they didn't give me a promo code, or at least I don't think they did. Yeah, so buy from my CBD website on my link tree, and then if you want to save some money, you can use, Chael Sonnen's coupon code, whatever. And then freeze sleeve, this guy right here, this fucking thing you keep in the freezer, it gets cold, and then you can slide it on your arm or your leg for your knee. So with me just breaking my arm recently, this was really helpful in getting back into the gym by getting some relief on the part where the bone was. But they have different sizes, one that's better for the leg, one that's better for the arm. They have one that can fit around the shoulder. And it just, when you're feeling sore or have some sort of pain that you want to put ice on, it's the best way to ice any part of your body. It gets not just, if you hurt your elbow, it gets around the whole elbow. It ices the whole area. It's just super fucking helpful. And then Iron Studios, I don't have my figure here. It's at my house. But it's just like those little figures that a lot of people have. Just comic book stuff. They got video game stuff there. Movies, they got Lord of the Rings statues and Harry Potter statues. So if you're a fucking nerd and you like that kind of shit, check out Iron Studios. But also check out my merch page. If you go to the link tree, it's the podcast merch. It's tpublic.com /stores/tcrosstheboss, and you should find it there. And buy some stuff. We got mugs, notebooks, pillows, onesies for your babies. A bunch of cool shit. Check it out. And I'm hoping to get vaccinated soon. I hope you guys all get vaccinated as well. And Jeffrey Epstein did absolutely no question about it. He did not kill himself.